Race in American history. Dane County Judge Susan Crawford.
I'm the only candidate in this race who is actually pledged to be fair and impartial.
And Waukesha County Judge Brad Schimmel.
This race matters. It's important. We have to stop the politics on the Wisconsin Supreme Court.
Vying for a seat on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. The race catching the attention of the nation and the White House. Tonight, we've got you covered on the results.
Thanks for being with us tonight. I'm Braden Tabor.
And I'm Amber Noggle. Tonight, the balance of the Wisconsin Supreme Court will remain liberal.
The court race is also serving as a bellwether of how people feel about the new Trump administration, as President Donald Trump and his advisor Elon Musk have gotten involved. Tonight, we've got you covered on the matchup between Dane County Judge Susan Crawford, who is backed by Democrats, and Waukesha County Judge Brad Schimmel, the choice of Republicans. We are also watching the race for State Superintendent of Schools, the vote on whether to enshrine voter ID rules in the state constitution, and other local and school referendums.
We've got you covered on the major races tonight. Grace Hodak, Kodichi Lawrence, Chloe Morrissey, and Lucas Kim are with the Supreme Court and superintendent candidates. Plus, Caroline Dade brings us insight into what's next for the High Court.
So let's dive into the results. And within about 75 minutes of polls closing, the Associated Press called the Supreme Court race for Susan Crawford. She's outpacing Brad Schimmel with more than 70% of the vote counted. She will fill the seat on the bench that's being opened by the retirement of liberal Justice Ann Walsh Bradley. Right now, liberal justices hold a 4-3 majority, and they'll keep it. Susan Crawford is in Madison watching the numbers come in. Kodichi Lawrence is there now. Kodichi.
As you can imagine, it is a lively crowd right here at Crawford Campaign Watch Party. I want you to take a look behind me at what is happening right now. Tonight, voters decided that Judge Susan Crawford will become Justice Susan Crawford. Her supporters have been here cheering her on her projected victory. We just heard from Crawford, who said Brad Schimmel called her and conceded. She wished him well and his family, and also thanks the Wisconsin people for voting for her.
And to the people of Wisconsin, thank you. Thank you for trusting me to serve you on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. This campaign has been an incredible, life-altering experience in so many ways. And I'm so grateful to have earned the trust and support of voters across this great state.
With Crawford the projected winner, she will go on to serve a 10-year term on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. Back to you guys in the studio.
All right, thank you. Brad Schimmel and his supporters are in Pewaukee tonight. Grace Hodak has you covered from their watch party. Grace.
Yeah, Schimmel conceded just moments ago. He came up on that stage. He thanked God, his family, and his team for all of the hard work that they put in over the last 16 months. He says they did all they can do, but it just wasn't a success. Let's take a listen to the moment he conceded.
We did it. You did all the work. You put all your heart into it, and I can't thank you enough for everything you did to try to make this a success, but it just didn't work. And yeah, I've called Judge Crawford and conceded.
The crowd booed to that, some even screaming cheater, but he says the numbers were just not in his favor and they weren't going to be able to pull off a recount. Schimmel has said in past interviews that he will accept the results of this election, and that's exactly what he did tonight. Now, despite those results, people are still hanging out around here, some leaving, but as you can see behind me, that band is still playing. Reporting live in Pewaukee, I'm Grace Hodak.
All right, Grace, thank you. And tonight, voters are also picking who sets the education agenda in our state.
The race for state superintendent of public instruction was on every ballot. It pits the current superintendent, Dr. Jill Underly, against education consultant Brittany Kinzer. At this point in the night, Underly is in the lead with more than 75% of the vote in. The winner of this race earns a 4-year term.
27 News is with both candidates tonight. First to Chloe Morrissey with the Underly camp in Madison. Chloe.
Yeah, hey, Amber and Brandon. You can see supporters of Underly still here celebrating behind me at the Concourse Hotel in downtown Madison, just minutes after Underly addressed the crowd, addressing this victory after she secured her second term as state superintendent. Now, Underly telling the crowd that this victory belongs to people who believe in public education. She's been a steady advocate of expanding funding for public schools and said tonight's victory reaffirms the belief that public dollars should be spent on public schools. She says that President Donald Trump is moving forward with plans to cut large portions of the U.S. Department of Education and saying now is more important as ever to reaffirm again those beliefs that public dollars should be going towards public schools. Now take a listen to Underly addressing her supporters just a few minutes ago.
This victory belongs to all of us who believe in the power of public education. It's a testament to our shared commitment to ensuring that every child in Wisconsin has access to a high-quality education regardless of their zip code. And together...
And again, Underly, while she was addressing the crowd just a few minutes ago, said that this victory is for every educator, family, and most importantly, kids, and will keep that momentum going for the next 4 years. Reporting live in Madison, I'm Chloe Morrissey.
All right, Chloe, thank you. Now we want to turn to Lucas Kim. He is with the Kinzer campaign in Wauwatosa. Lucas.
Hey, Amber and Brandon. I'm out here at the Brittany Kinzer watch party where people are anxiously awaiting for the results for Kinzer's watch. As you can see, I'm going to go ahead and pan over to the crowd. People are waiting around here right now. There was about 100 people who came to support Kinzer in her potential election as state superintendent. Kinzer was present throughout the event, greeting and taking pictures with guests who attended the event. Former governor of Wisconsin, Tommy Thompson, was present and gave his resounding approval of Kinzer's campaign efforts.
Believes that we have to do much better in educating all of our students throughout Wisconsin. It's there to increase the standards instead of lower the standards, and does not want to just have an educational title. She wants to accomplish things.
Thompson has been an advocate for Kinzer since she started her campaign way back in the past summer. Now, we'll keep you guys updated once more once the results come in. Currently, right now, Underly is about 6 or 7 points ahead of Kinzer, but those numbers are set to change. Reporting live in Wauwatosa, I'm Lucas Kim.
All right, Lucas Kim, thank you. Now, the third race that was on every ballot in Wisconsin centered on the state's voter ID rules.
This question asks whether those rules should be enshrined in the state constitution. Right now, they are only part of state law. The tally is still going, but voters have said yes by a wide margin, so the Associated Press called it. Supporters said this would make it harder for future legislatures or courts to walk back voter ID requirements. Critics were concerned about disenfranchising voters.
Well, voters in Dane County are picking who they want to be the next county executive. Melissa Agard has the job now and will be keeping it. She's already declared victory over Stephen Ratzloff Jr., leading him by a wide margin. Agard first won the role in a special election in November to finish the term of former county executive Joe Parisi.
Some places had their own referendums on the ballot. In Cottage Grove, they went to referendum to fund the village's first public library. They're asking for a $1.3 million increase in the property tax levy in 2026 to help pay for the project. This would be combined with grants and donations. Results show most voters said no, nearly doubling the yes votes. In the village of Oregon, their referendum focuses on maintaining services to help keep up with the growing population. The village is asking voters to support a nearly $2 million permanent increase in the property tax levy. Results show the referendum has failed. We also saw a handful of referendums in school districts across southern Wisconsin.
These may cover building projects or funding for services. The school district of Beloit asked voters to support a referendum to exceed revenue limits by more than $40 million over 3 years. This would cover staffing, academic programs, and other operational expenses. Now, this is a close one. Right now, no is slightly ahead. The referendum in the Belleville School District asked voters to approve exceeding revenue limits by nearly $9 million over the course of 3 years. The district wants to use the money for maintenance, educational programs, and worker salaries. So far, voters, they are saying yes to this referendum.
There are many more races we're following tonight. You've seen some of them at the bottom of your screen, but there's an even longer list on WKOW.com. Just click on the election results banner at the top of the homepage.
All right, let's take a quick look outside right now. We know that snow showers may be moving through some parts of the state here. 27 Storm Track Chief Meteorologist Cameron Hotman is tracking the potential for snow and even storms overnight and into tomorrow, Cam.
Hey, Brandon, Amber, yeah, that's right. We are tracking snow chances, showers, thunderstorms, even that threat of severe weather. It's all thanks to this core of low pressure, already generating a good amount of precip across the state, though a lot of it not necessarily reaching the surface quite yet. Best chances for some snowfall on that heavy line from Princeton off to the northwest of Mauston, off to the north of La Crosse as well. So north central, northwestern Wisconsin seeing accumulating snowfall. Here at home, we're staying dry, but we could be dealing with some light rain showers, maybe some wintry mixture. Most of us aren't seeing any precip at this time, however, despite all the precip on your Doppler radar there. It looks like a full-on snowfall event in Madison and Dane County, correct? Well, not really. Here's the deal. Temperatures right now, 36 degrees. Dew point values still about 10 degrees cooler than the actual air temperature. Those dew points have to rise before that moisture actually reaches the surface. What's happening right now? A lot of it evaporating right back up into the atmosphere. Now, once these numbers rise, we start to see rain, and we start to see that threat of potentially strong to severe storms overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. As of right now, the Storm Prediction Center maintaining that 1 on the threat index for the far southern reaches of the state. I'll have a full rundown of when we could see those potentially strong to severe storms, and yes, talk about even more of that severe weather threat headed our way for Wednesday afternoon. That's all coming up.
Coming up after the break, with Susan Crawford's win, liberal justices will maintain their majority on the Wisconsin Supreme Court. What this means for major cases the court is set to hear.